Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we're back again, and yes, I'm back with my favorite people in the whole world, Oso and Emmy. Do say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow, that was so dry. Anyways, folks, yes, it's me as always, Isaiah Zone with Emmy, my favorite sister from another mother, and also my love interest.
You
And
look like your
today,
sister from another mister.
hey, let me go with my whole opening scene because that sounds awesome. Anyways, and we are all together, not Charlie's Angels, but we are the three opinions plus someone else. Because let's be honest, everyone's coming to see us. Mostly me, but mostly see us. So we're gonna talk about the next episode of Orphan Black Season 3, Episode 2, Transitory Sacrifice of what the hell was that episode again? Because I wrote it. It's like, what the hell was that episode? Shit. I can't remember now. Oh fuck! It's the second episode of Orphan Black, Season 3. Thank you. Anyway,
Y'all should have watched it.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Oh, Emmy. Oh my goodness, those two almost mixed up. Anyways, folks. So I must stop. I'm gonna stop my talking, and I want to know what you guys think about this episode itself, and I will chime in at the end. So please, ladies, have at it.
Wow.
Go ahead, Emmy.
It was like I was disappointed, honestly, because I understand that the whole point of the show is like it's about the clones, and so now we have to learn about the Castor clones, but I'm not feeling them. I don't know if it's the actor, and I don't know the actor from anything else, so I don't want to say that he's not a good actor, and we know that the writers know how to write because the first 2 seasons have been like so good.
Right.
But I don't know what it is. I'm not really feeling the Castor clones. I don't know if it's because I'm like so into the Lita clones or what, but I wasn't really feeling it. And like the whole thing, all this crap that they're doing to Helena, like with the whole pouring the water on her and swabbing her mouth and what the hell? And the whole thing with her talking to the damn scorpion, that's getting on my nerves. I don't get it. I don't see a point to it because even though we know it's like this whole sci-fi type thing, it's always come across as, wow, that's something that really could potentially happen. But now we're talking to this damn scorpion. Come the fuck on. That's just irking me. And that's and with the part where they put the towel over her face and they pour the water.
That's waterboarding, yes.
Huh?
That's waterboarding, yes.
Oh, that is. I didn't know if that was considered waterboarding or not. I didn't know if it was more specific. Okay, well,
most basic form.
Yeah.
And they took the towel off of her. That's the first time that I ever, in all of this entire show, have looked at Helena and said, that's not Helena, that's Tatiana. But I mean, you know, having water poured all it, like, I think she must have done that herself. At least, if she had a stunt double or something, then I don't know, because it looked, she acted it well.
Right. It was just so realistic. It was just hard to adjust it all.
Well, no, not so much that, because I've seen that kind of thing in other movies. So in movies, so I'm used to seeing that type of thing done in TV. But when they took the towel off, maybe it was because the makeup, because of the water, the makeup would get messed up. But she just didn't look like Helena in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can explain a little bit later on, but you make a good point. Now, also, what did you think about it?
I just thought I feel personally it should have been more. Like, there's so many, I don't know it's the second episode, but there's so many other themes I have questions on. It's like, who is this person? Like the doctor, I'm sorry, I'm referring to the doctor. And the Castor clones, I'm like, they're not, I don't know, as far as the Lita clones, as we know, as the first 2 seasons, we come to see as they got to know each other, because they didn't know each other prior to, none of it exists prior to knowing that they were all clones. And then you can see they're unified now, even especially trying to figure out cure Casima's illness and also save Helena from the army military. But with the caster clones, when we don't know much about them, but what we can see, it's like every man for themselves. They fight for the military. If one's down, they gotta go. I don't even know what. I mean, there's so many questions. Of course, we just got to know them. This is only the second episode, but I just have a bunch of questions. I'm just like, I don't know. I ended with the second episode asking more questions than and getting less answers. That's basically it.
Right, and I think I understand what you ladies are talking about. That this episode was pretty much like a filler in a way that was a little bit not hard to understand, but it was just like it should have been more behind it. It should be like more behind the cast, the program. It should be more like why they're doing this X, Y, and Z. But like
we're just seeing these caster clones, but we're not seeing the background like we have with the Lita clones. But at the same time, we have to remember it did take a little bit of time before we really got the whole Lita story. Like, we didn't even know it was that they were called Project Lita until a little ways in.
Right, and so
you know, kind of got to look at it that way too.
Yeah, but I like this episode because it filled in some details. I had some ideas and details behind the caster clones. And unlike the Lita clones, who were a little bit scattered and who didn't know one another, the caster clones knew about one another. Because if you look at it, all the clones with all those tattoos, the two horses, they all know what that tattoo means because they're all the same clone. And when Kazima asked one of the doctors at Dynalab about the original copy of the original DNA, he said, I think he was lying too. Like the rest of the main samples, the main origins are destroyed or is with the military and they destroyed it, which I don't believe that at all whatsoever. Like, yeah, you're full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because to me, the originals are ones who are not defective, ones who don't get sick. And if you look at Sarah, if you look at Helena, they're pretty much their original copy because they can give birth, unlike the other ones. And the caster, go ahead.
But wait a minute, with Sarah and Helena, the fact that they can get pregnant, the fact that they are not sterile, I think that happened they said that it happened on accident, but I think that it happened when Amelia was their mom, right? Well, the woman who carried her. When Amelia was impregnated, she was impregnated with a single embryo.
Right.
And the embryo split. And that's how the two of them were created. So they are actually twins.
Right.
They are technically sisters because they were the embryo that split.
Right.
Well, the other ones, even though they call each other sisters, they're clones of
one another.
Of this one genetic sequence. And
right.
I don't think that there's an original. I think that the whole genome had been sequenced and then put into an embryo.
Right.
And that's how all those embryos were made from the same genetic sequence.
Right.
So the only two who actually have a sister are Helena and Sarah, but even the two of them are not originals. They're still clones. Right,
and plus, if you think about it now, since these caster clones are looking for the Lita clones, even if Paul said, like, to stand down, don't do it anymore, they said, fuck that shit, because they know the clones have something they don't have. Like with the other caster clone who just died at the end of the episode, which is really sad because I want to know more about the character, but I think we'll learn more as history goes on because, for the looks of it, he had the same disease or defect as Kazima. So I think in this case, when they get the defects are a little bit more serious for the male characters, for the male clones, because the female characters, they do take time to develop and their diseases do take time. It's not really severe as the male because they're doing so much of everything else, and one's more fit than the other, and things like that nature.
But we don't know how old the caster clones are. The caster clones could have been created before the Lita clones. I don't think that we've ever been told when they were made. So they could, and they kind of look like an average age range, the men and the women.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have been created simultaneously, or one could have come before the other. We don't know. But I'm also wondering about, maybe I missed something, but at the end, the Castor clone who married the Prolethean's daughter, he's in the bathroom and he's using the
blowtorch
flame to get rid of his tattoo, to burn his tattoo off.
Right, because he knows what the tattoo means, and he knows that if she knows who he really is, she will catch on, not really in a sense of a way, love him for who he is. And that's pretty much the Castor clones themselves. They're more, like I said, like you guys already know, that they're more dangerous and they're highly more active than the leader clones, and that's kind of because they're one's male, one's female. But if you look at how much the one's more deranged and more craziest, and one's in the military, he's more calculated, but also he's crazy as well. So
they're just like Helena.
Right.
So, I mean, I get what both of y'all are saying, but I kind of disagree because, Isaiah, you're saying one is in the military. The Castor clones were built as ghost soldiers. They were built as, if you heard the mythology that Cosima was telling Sarah when they were talking, it goes up to Greek mythology, both of them actually, but speaking for the Castor clones, they were built to be ghost soldiers. They all in the military. Mark, Seth, Rudy, and whoever else we're gonna see in this season, they're all built to this. That's why when I get her first name, but Dr. Cody, she was talking to Elena, and she was talking to Elena, telling her, "Oh, this is what we do, blah blah blah, and this is nice here, blah blah." But when she was talking, I think she was talking to Paul, and what we saw towards the end of the episode, after this episode was over, what we're gonna see in the next episode, she was talking to Paul and saying Mark is missing his MIA, so we need to put Rudy back on because he was out because he was locked up. Now he put him back on network or whatever, back going on patrol, and what he's on patrol for, I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not sure if he's trying to get the leader clones. I'm thinking that's more what it is because it seems like he's really trying to, each one of them, I think that's part of their mission against the leader clones, but I just feel that it's not, they're all in the same mission. All the cast clones are on the same mission. What the mission is in detail, we'll find out later. And as far as the sickness, I think it's the same thing. It's the same equivalent to what Cosima, Jennifer, and all the other leader clones had, who later died from, and Cosima is sick from. I just think they were more progressive. Why? I'm not sure, because he just felt like went down and fell out, and they said a week.
Well, so, he's having that weird zzz thing.
It's like he was having Tourette's and fell out.
Cosima had seizures, but what that dude was having was very different.
It was more severe.
Yeah.
It was more severe, or it lasts longer, whatever the case, or it was more severe. And I won't say it lasts longer because he said a week. He said he'd been having it for a week. So, hers has been going on for. She had that one seizure, but maybe because she's getting. So maybe it's because she's getting using the stem cells from what Kira has is helping her sustain her living. Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah. Because his just fell out so quick. I think it's more aggressive with men. I don't know. But I think it's what the illness is the equivalent. It's just his has to be more aggressive.
Yeah, because if you think about it, those clones are not really being not self-managed, but they're not getting like what Cosima had. She had the bone marrow. She had Kira's teeth as well. So she got herself in check already. These clones have not. And plus, if you look at, I forgot Kira's father. Was it Paul? Was it? I forgot his name. His name's a miss to me now. Because oh my god.
I just lost his name.
Yeah, because he knows about those clones very well. When he saw that tattoo, he's like, uh-oh. Because he knows. Because Paul asked him like, yeah, you make weapons for the military, so you know everything about these damn clones. So he's very smart motherfucker. So we don't know what he's into, but it's good enough to say that he's pretty much involved. Yeah, thank you, Cal. He knows these clones very well. If he saw that tattoo, like, uh-oh, I know this tattoo, so I better do something very quickly to not know he knows me. So And Cal, or Cal that they call him, it's gonna be more things we're gonna see more about him because he had a house for Kira and Sarah, but he has to leave due to pretty much what Paul told him. Like, yeah, dude, you're living a fantasy. You're living bullshit fantasy. She's going to know who you really are soon. So stop that bullshit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go into that discussion right now. What do you guys think about Cal himself? Because he was very interesting about this whole episode. So what do you ladies think?
I'm back and forth.
Go ahead.
I'm back and forth about him because part of me really wants to like him. Like, yeah, you know, the daughter needs a father, and you know, it would be great to see Sarah finally, you know, straighten out her life, and she's with somebody who just so happens to be Kira's father, and all of that. But there's something that's not right with him. I think he, in some kind of way, he has something to do with Castor. I don't know what.
Pretty much.
But there's got to be something. And I'm hoping that maybe he worked on the project when he was younger and didn't know what he was doing, and then once he found out what they were, he left, which would mean he is on the up and up. But I don't know. I'm still really iffy about him.
What about you, also?
Yeah, like he has nice qualities about. I mean, the character, but yeah, there's something that we just like. Well, like when Paul was mentioning things, he just looked like, oh, she don't. He's like, oh, does she know about that? Does she know about that? I feel he has his secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel he would like to keep them so he can keep his newfound daughter in his life and actually, because I do think his feelings for Sarah and Kira are genuine. However, he has secrets, just like everyone in this, Paul and everyone else, that if they let it out, things could go awry, and he doesn't want to ruin what has just happened in the last few days, months, weeks. So he's playing his cards carefully.
Yeah, because Paul said the storm is coming, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty much on your fault too because you're hiding something so big. And pretty much when Paul said he got a big amount of money, because come on now, he can't afford that house. And what kind of, if he did leave the military, like, he got paid pretty much very handsomely because he is super smart. And so it's like, interesting. Plus, he has a lot of things. He can go off the rails. He can do anything he wants to because he knows what he's doing. So I don't think he stopped working for the military. I think he's pretty much needed a break from or something like that because since he's so smart, he says, okay, we give him a break. We give him like he can be on vacation for as long as he wants, but he doesn't work for us overall. So it has to be something about that. So that's why the cats are go ahead.
He could be very high up in the military.
Right.
So he might be some kind of like undercover person, something or another, who gets to do whatever he feels like doing because he's so high up.
Right. And I think Paul knows something about him, but not everything because he was throwing out words, which was true about Cal so far. But he didn't know like the true resume behind him. He knows Sarah, man. He knows everyone. He knows everyone else. But when it comes to Cal, he's a little bit lost him. So I think it's somewhere there's a great area within Cal's own resume himself. Like, so you're pretty much very hidden that no one knows you. So it gives you more things to think about. Like, I don't know, because I like the character, I really do. But
yeah,
I have a hard time trusting. Like, dude, you know all this shit. You have a gun. You have a gas mask. You have all types of money. And you afford this house, it just doesn't feel right.
Well, and then I'm kind of annoyed that Kira and Cal are going away somewhere because I really wanted Kira to get to know the new clone, Charlotte. Because even though it would be, in clone terms, would be her aunt, they're, you know, on the same age range and everything. And I wonder if something...
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Something with the clones could have been had they known they were clones all their lives, like the Castor clones, if they had worked at things differently, maybe they'd be more advanced, because you know how we've been saying that it seems like the Castor clones are more advanced in certain things, but they also have always known. They've been raised by the military, they've been trained to do all this other stuff. So even though Kira's not a clone, she has some of that genetic material.
Well, she's a more, to me, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Kira, I mean, not Kira, but Kira is more, in my book, a more advanced type of cloning. No fact she was born naturally. I think she's more advanced, more so than her mother and Helena, if you just put all those two together.
Well, because she's half clone, half human. So she's got human attributes from Cal, but then she's got, you never know what parts of the clone had been transferred to her through the DNA. And then so we have Charlotte, so maybe since Charlotte knows she's a clone at such a young age, maybe she's doing more with it and she's able to learn things easier. Like, because you saw how easily Kira was learning all the science stuff from Ichikasima.
Which is very quick, too.
So I'm thinking that might be the same with Charlotte. That Charlotte is going to have all this all this more intelligence and stuff like that because she knows to work on it. Same thing with Kira, though, because she knows to work on it, because she knows that she's different and she knows that she's got something special about her.
Right.
You know, I don't think they've told Kira. As far as I know, Kira doesn't know about clones. She just knows that Mom found sisters that looked like her.
Also, Kira knows that when the other clones is pretending to be her mother, she's not stupid. She knows off the back of her hand, like, you're not my mother. Because Allison pulled that same trick on Kira, but Mrs. S didn't know this, but Kira knew it automatically. Like, yeah, I know you're not my mother. It's like, what? How in the hell did you know that? Like,
and then she knew that Helena, she could just, her instincts told her, Helena's not going to hurt me. Helena's fine. Helena won't hurt people that she doesn't need to hurt.
Right. So, I know it's kind of sad that she's not going to be like half of the season, but she'll play a major role again because we all love her character so much, because we do.
I'm hoping that something happens and she doesn't actually leave the country. Like, maybe Cal is in with Castor, but he thinks, well, you know, I am with Castor, but this is my child, so I want to keep her safe. So maybe he drops her off somewhere else and doesn't take her out so we can continue her story. Even if he drops her off with Charlotte and the person who's Charlotte's mom.
Yeah, but that's also a big risk, though, because the clones found Felix loft. And it was to me, they might hurt Kira, but I don't know about that, because no fact they are extremely crazy. I don't think they will actually go that far to hurt a child, but if push came to shove, they would have, because...
Okay, but think about it. They've been raised by military, and there are snipers in the military.
Correct.
Who you're told, when we tell you to do something, you do it. I have a friend who used to be a sniper in the military, and he never went into specifics because he couldn't, because military, top secret, whatever. But he did say that he was told to shoot a child because the child had a bomb on them. He wouldn't say what country, whatever, but it was during like Desert Shield, Desert Storm era.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it was probably Saudi Arabia, but he had been told, he didn't tell me where it was, but he'd been told, if you see a child, it doesn't matter who it is, if you see someone come out of this building with a bomb on them, you are to shoot them between the eyes. And a child came out, and he's like radioing back, are you sure? This is a kid. They have a bomb on them. You got to do it.
Yeah.
So we can, and now granted, you know, that's a little different than a TV show, but if they're trying to keep it as real as possible, if the Castor clones were made and brought up by the military, they're going to do what they have to do for what they have to do. So if they have to kill a child, they'll do it.
Right. And so
if they think it's in the best interest of the group, you know, because if that little kid had actually triggered the bomb that was on them, or if somebody somewhere else had a way to trigger it, then it would have killed hundreds of people. So as shitty as it is that the person I know had to shoot this kid, technically he saved hundreds of people by killing one.
Right, and that's what the that's what the Scar one was actually thinking. Like, if I just like force Sarah to do what I want to do, or if I have to kill her child, then I'll have to save my brothers. And that's really much an interesting aspect behind it, because I think for some odd reason these clones are pretty much like mentally connected, and they know it too. They're all connected. If one dies, they know it very well. That's really interesting too. But again, we all digress. But let's move on to something that's more what was very funny in my book was Allison and like I forgot her husband's name. Oh my god. Yes, thank you, Donnie. And oh my god, when Allison tried to run and also try to get money at the same time, because Donnie lost his job because he said he quit and just being cold dick. It was like, really, dude, really? It's that, oh my god, it's like she met her old dealer, Jerome, was like, this mofo is not black, he's Caucasian. There's no way in hell he's Jerome. Oh, Jerome?
I know white people named Jerome.
Hey, it's hard for me to actually believe. Like, come on now, Jerome or Joaquin. Come on now. Who's their mom was sleeping with a black guy? Come on. But enough about my silliness. I want to know what you guys thought about the whole plot itself between Donnie, Allison, and Jerome itself, and the money behind campaigning. So I want to know what you guys think behind that so interesting subplot.
I'm thinking that Donnie doesn't know about the money. Did they ever remember early on in the series? There was the money that Sarah took out of the bank that Beth had, and Art had it for a while, and then Sarah got it back, and then she had given it to Allison, but I don't remember what happened to it after that. Does Allison still have that money?
Actually, she has more money than most of us actually think, because she might have that money and maybe using it, but also she also has more money as well by Dynalab, because remember she signed that contract. It's not in void. It hasn't expired to my knowledge. Because when she signed
paying them though. I think that contract was just that they'll leave her alone.
Well, also they have to make sure they're not really like in danger or pretty much facing any stupid trials. They're how like rich people are. They're always protected by all things necessary. Yeah. I think it's pretty much that. Like they make sure they're not pretty much in danger and things like that. So I think that would go on financial as well. But I don't know. I really don't know. But
it's smart though what she's doing, because if most of the people who are going to vote for the position she's trying to get are customers of this drug dealer, all she's got to do is go to them and say, I have proof that you do drugs, that you buy drugs from this kid, vote for me, and that record will not only disappear, I'll also continue to get you your drugs.
Which is very smart.
She's playing it really smart. And I like that the contrast between Sarah and Allison, because Sarah is 100% in it to help out the clones. I mean, yeah, her daughter, of course, too, but she's 100% I have to help my sisters. And then we have Allison, who is like, sorry, I don't want to deal with this. My family comes first. I'm doing what I gotta do for my kids. I don't want them to have to go to this other school, this and that. I'm keeping my kids safe. So it's like a total opposite. Rather than being in it for everybody, she's in it for just her family. And
or for herself.
Yeah. And then we have Cosima, who she's still hiding the book with all that information about the genome and all that that Ethan gave to Kira before he killed himself.
Right.
So I'm wondering when somebody's going to find out about that book.
Well, there's only a few people who know about the book. It's Cosima, her lab friend, and Kira. I don't know if Kira actually shared that book with Sarah. I don't know. I can't really remember that part.
I think Sarah knew she had it, but I don't think Sarah ever opened it and saw all the drawings.
Right. She doesn't know what it entails inside. She just knows the story about blah, 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 but she doesn't know what's actually when you
Yeah.
open it, see what's inside. Yeah.
Only Scott and Cosima actually know what's in the book.
Mm,
I
interesting.
feel when according with this with Allison, her intentions for why she's running for it, I believe are fine. She wants her kids to be in the ghetto, which I don't think is a ghetto. Probably like Donnie says, one street over. I guess it's just less school, but she just wants her kids to be in the same place, like they were going to a good school. Like many good parents they want their kids to go to school, but in a good place where they're learning right and being nourished mentally and spiritually and all that. However, how she does it, it can backfire on her if someone finds out. If that person finds out, the woman who's currently
That she's running against.
School council, whatever the heck it is, basically running for that position. The person who currently has that position that Allison is trying to run for, or trying to work to run for, if she finds out, or anyone in her team finds out, or one of the customers that she's on that phone list turns back and can go to the news and said this person's drug dealer, because she's already if someone goes to the press and says that against her, it could just backfire on her a lot. Because remember, she already has an X on her because she's was in rehab and is an alcoholic and is trying to. She just got out of rehab. People will in front of you say, oh, she's doing a good job. In the back of their mind, oh, she's not trustworthy because she's done this, she's been in rehab. Like, people don't have a past. But people, especially, and I feel in that type of suburb and how they talk, you saw how they talk, how they look, and they look down upon her now, especially because of her not her business, but what she has gone through is being aired out, and even though she's trying to get better, it's just her not being perfect. Like, they feel they are perfect, showing that she's not perfect and seeing that she has flaws in their eyes is basically lowered her down as being something to look down upon, and it's not just she's human, just like everyone else.
Right.
How she's gonna get that? How she's going to financially work on running for it, I think is smart, because he said he's going off to college. He's the opportunity. Let me take over your business, and this way. I mean, people do it all the time. When they say new management under new management, they do it all the time. So this is just more black market and the way she's doing it.
Right.
And I mean, if she knows the clientele, she's be around them every time for soccer practice with the kids. So and if she can play it right and not go too overboard, and hopefully Donnie be that conscience and not go overboard himself, it could work. It could work to her favor.
Right,
She's got to play smart.
Donnie's not that bright. He's
not
actually
stupid.
He's trying to say all the stupid words, like, dude, I'm in it, homie. Like, no, dude.
That just means he just don't know. He don't know.
That's
Many
true,
people
too.
like that don't mean he's stupid.
But, like, that was really...
He's kind of a dunce, though.
Yeah, he is, like, well, he's like a blonde, but he's like a fat
I think he's just unaware. Like that second season when he found out she had a clone, and she's like, Donnie, and then Felix was like, no, and Sarah's like, no, he's look at his face. He really did not know this was. You can't play that face. That's fear. He's really
not a good
confused.
liar. He's not.
Yeah.
But like so before we get to wild speculations, there's one thing I do want to talk about. It's Helene's storyline, and I would like to explain this a little bit more further, because I know you ladies have some different feelings behind it. Well, I understand too, but I like to explain it a little bit more. When Helena was getting tested, like a psych valve after the whole waterboarding, because they test all the clones to see if they can remember, see how quick the responses are, and things like that nature. Helena doesn't follow those rules because, like we all know, she's just batshit crazy.
You don't care.
Right. And the Scorpion is not really there because no one sees Scorpion besides her. That's her subconscious. It's like her conscious talking to herself.
Me.
I know, it kind of irks you, but I like it because it shows that who she is, that she's never going to change. And when that lady doctor, who's pretty much the governing over all the caster clones, because when they say mother, they actually start talking about her. Like, yeah, who's got these orders from, mother or you? Because her and Paul are pretty much don't have the same order lines. Because if we know the show very well, is that the strong female characters are the ones who are pretty much dangerous. But before I get you guys to answer your question, is that when she was telling Helen about all this and that, like your sisters gave you up, blah 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 blah. He's like that's like 1% of the truth. That's Mrs. S, who never liked her. It's like you're saying all this BS. Will Helena fall for it? That's a big possibility. But for Scorpio, her subconscious, it's gonna be that pretty much that balancing angle. If her subconscious is gone, then she'll believe in anything, which is kind of scary. But I want to know what you ladies think.
But why wouldn't we have seen the Scorpion in season 1 or season 2? Why did it now come out?
Because I feel it's because when season 1 and season 2. Season 1, we found when we were introduced to her jumping on Sarah, who was playing Beth, about to kill her because she's like, "You're not Beth," and then she realized that I'm gonna jump. That's how we first was like, "Bam, here I am." I'm a crazy person, but then you find like I'm not really crazy. I'm misunderstood. So then, you go through it, but she never been in the state of. What I'm trying to say, she never been in the state of
distress,
vulnerability,
danger.
And basically, I don't know. She never been in a place where I don't know where I am. I know what's about to happen to me. She always even as crazy, she always been in control at some point. Even when she was tied up, came out of her sedation when she got impregnated by that man. This is so nasty. But she was still in control. After she regained her conscience, she was back in control. She never been in a state of I don't know where I am. Well, she has, as we find out with the Scorpion, which I believe is her subconscious. When that Scorpion in the first episode, it was trying to tell her, this is a challenge. Remember, like you used to do in the convent, this is a challenge. You're going to have to step up like you had before. This probably is the second so she recognizes the Scorpion. The Scorpion is not new to her. Maybe it's been a while since it's been like that. And for us as the viewing public, we never seen her like this until now. But for her, the Scorpion is familiar. It's her subconscious, her deeper level of subconscious, where people who go through, where they don't know if they're gonna live or die and have to go through lengths of time like that. I believe that they have to get in that subconscious of like you're either gonna live or die. You're gonna have to be on survivor mode. Basically, that subconscious is her survivor mode, where she's gonna have to play it as intricately as she can. She can show her cards. She basically don't let them see you sweat type of thing, and that's why I think it's going on. Even as annoying as maybe you got to do this mangoes. I don't.
Right,
and she's like those mangoes. So,
but also,
it's basically. Yeah,
I have the mangoes.
But
she found the mangoes. They're talking about.
Well, also, we're talking about she's actually 100% right, because if we think about an episode in season 1 and season 2, Helena was always around somebody that she semi knew or pretty much was going to know either way. And when she got to know her sisters in season 2, she was pretty much in a relaxed state a little bit, if you call it relaxed state. So she didn't really need the Scorpion herself, because she was already fine, because she doesn't talk to herself that much often. But now in season 3, she's talking to herself because she doesn't know where the fuck she is, and she doesn't know who these people are, but she knows who the clones are. So she knows she's in a dangerous spot, but she don't know where. So the Scorpion is her last best hope to surviving. So OhSo is extremely right about that.
Yeah, she's gonna have to get. She just gotta be in that mindset. Like, okay, I'm in this place. I don't know what these people gonna do to me, but I'm gonna have to keep what I know. I know my sisters love me. They're gonna find me, and just basically just. I feel like she needs. It's that fight or flight type emotion, and just keep under the radar. Just keep her sanity, even as uninhibited person that Helena is grown to be, and what we see her as. She's been so aware of herself. She knows what to do. She knows how to take someone down. She knows all that type of stuff. But in this situation, she is so. I don't know what's going on, but she can't let them know that. She just had to be like, this is me. She won't. You're not gonna control me, but I can't run away. I don't know where I'm at, so I'm gonna play it cool for now, as the best way I can. But just don't test me.
Right.
But
Right.
she's trying to feel it out, basically. See what's going on,
Plus,
see what I can do.
right, but she has to worry about another person inside of her as well, like another person. So she's not fighting for herself; she's fighting for her unborn child. So that pretty much raises the stakes even more. Like what she's gonna do next? She's she is afraid. She's very afraid, not for herself, but for her own child and pretty much her sisters down the road. So it's gonna be really interesting how things play out. And also, Felix has been the one who's been also kind of signed for the idea that they gave Helena away. Like, really, dude? I mean, no, I understand your reasoning. You know, she is batshit insane, but it still wasn't right because Helena, again, she was treated so wrongly and pretty much like a deadly assassin that you can't take everything for granted what she does and how she says things like what she is. No, because she was made into a monster. She wasn't born. She was made into a horrific monster. She was born to kill and who was just pretty much straight up crazy. And so I understand her why she's like this. I understand why her subconscious talks to her because a person who is mentally insane in a way will talk to themselves to pretty much cope with reality itself because the mind will bend and twist to fit its own reality until it breaks or snaps. So it's really interesting how this will play out, and this will pretty much lead to a wild speculation. So since I talk way too much, I want to know what your ladies' speculations, what the next episode might be, or the season itself. So please tell me about your speculations.
Well, real quick, I found an article on the TV Guide website that they were talking to the co-creator John Fawcett, and he said a talking scorpion is kooky enough, but once one learns that pupak, which is what she calls it, means belly button in Ukrainian, that reaches new heights of wacky. Since this is Helena, though, we'll go with it. So they decided that they wanted to have a spirit animal for her, which is kind of what I think we all were figuring was what it was supposed to be. And originally they thought they'd have it speak Ukrainian and subtitle it, but then they decided against that.
Yeah, good idea.
Only Helena sees the scorpion. It's kind of like her intuition or inner wisdom. Now, they have not said this on the show, but the creator is saying Pupak appeared to her when she was quite young as a child and was trying to deal with surviving the torture of the nuns back in the Covenants in Ukraine. It became her guidance and her strength. So that makes sense now. I don't recall ever hearing that in the show. It's like they just assume you'd know that, but not necessarily. I mean, because we know that she went through some shit when she was with the nuns. But that that doesn't tell us, oh, well, that's when Pupak first appeared.
Well, there is a comic book based on the Orphan Black as well, so they might say, like, it's in the comic books because the comic books also go through all the clones' backstory, like how they became X, Y, and Z. So there is a comic book for them. It just wasn't really it wasn't pretty much advertised as much, sad to say, because it is a good comic book. It just doesn't. It wasn't advertised.
The comic books were made before the show?
No, the comic books was made before season 3.
That's what I thought, because I have one.
Yeah, it's talking about Sarah, but I think there's gonna be multiple issues of all the clones, like Sarah, Allison, Kazima, maybe Beth down the road, and also Helena, and maybe the cast of clones as well. So because the comic books is ongoing, and it's a good thing, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the comic books themselves, because it's gonna be up in the air, but the same way, it's gonna be really intriguing what they're gonna do with the backstory in these comic books, because you can't tell everything in the story itself in the show, right. So that's gonna be really interesting.
Oh, and I thought that the scorpion was fake, and it's not. It's real.
It's real. Yeah, it's beyond real.
I thought that it was just like they put it in like it was on a green screen, and then they superimposed it in there.
Nah, the way that thing moved, that's a real scorpion.
Yeah,
I've seen some. That's a real one.
But you gotta be very calm around them because they're very jumpy and they will attack. You gotta stay super calm.
But apparently Tatiana liked it, and she got really comfortable, like, playing with it and stuff.
Right.
And do you know who the voice of the scorpion is?
Please tell me.
It's actually Tatiana.
Of course.
I knew it!
It was obvious. Like, yeah.
Because I was like, that made total sense. Like, why not? Just add more work onto her plate.
It's like her baby voice. Oh, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was, but I said, like, come on now, Isaiah. It's her. It's pretty much always her. Like, she's doing every job under the sun. It's like, but like, also, what's your speculation or theory behind this, behind the next show or the series itself?
I feel that Helena's gonna actually gut each one of them. Like she said in that one episode, she gonna get them. So let me out these
much.
balls. I'm going to gut each one of you. She going to. I feel they're gonna. I hope towards the end they're gonna find some. They're gonna actually decipher his Mr. Don't tell me what's that man's name. Oh boy, Rachel's daddy. Him. I can't get his name, but him.
Duncan.
They're gonna decipher. Thank you, just Duncan. I knew it was a D of Duncan. They're gonna figure out that cipher. They're gonna decipher his cipher from that book and decipher what the heck it is, and then actually figure out be at the cusp, or actually figure out an actual cure for her and the future clones, or the clones we don't even know about yet. And also, right. Cal's secret, whatever secret is going to come out, we're going to find out how that changes the whole dynamic. Are they going to have a custody battle with Kira? I don't know. Is it going to be on Maury? We don't know. Like,
you are not the father. I know it.
We'll see. But seriously though, I think this is going to be interesting. I did see a pickup, and I do want to understand the cast of clones more, and I believe we're going to get that as far as, especially since Seth said. We didn't even talk about how he just killed his brother just clean like that.
But he had to.
I love you, brother.
He had to. He was no choice because he was driving in pain. He pretty much would have cost him the mission. So he had no choice but to kill him. Sad to say.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's really sad though.
I was like, I ain't it, man. I ain't it.
But like, but I didn't hear your speculation. I want to hear your speculation and/or theories behind everything else.
I want to know if, like Helena and Sarah, how their embryo split and they are able to, and they are literal twins, and they also happen to be able to get pregnant. I'm wondering if any of the Castor clones, if something similar happened, and if someone is trying to keep them apart so they don't know, because in the end they want to get Sarah or Helena's eggs and whichever Castor clone has sperm, and they want to make like super clone because a clone from two clones, or like a baby from two clones.
Right.
We see that, like we've said, we see that Kira has some kind of extra something. She's not a normal little girl.
Right.
So, and she's only from half clone. You know, she's only, her dad's not a clone. So can you imagine how much more advanced she would be if her mother and father were clones? So I'm interested to see if something like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that can go a different way too. It could be a thing where it's like, if a person has a child with someone in their bloodline, it messes up the child. It could go that way too.
That's true.
The thing is, though, I don't think that their bloodlines are connected.
Right.
They're genetically created.
Right.
So it could have been, the whole thing is with Dyad, they could have had this very long, drawn-out process created where eventually they were going to then breed the clones.
Mm-hmm.
And they had originally made, because remember when they were talking about, forget what they called it, but where they went and killed all the clones from one...
Helsinki. It's called Helsinki.
When Helsinki happened, how do we know? See, I'm wondering if Helsinki was a group of clones that came before the Leda clones, and they were actually able to get pregnant, and then they realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that yet. Maybe we need to grow some clones that can't get pregnant, see how they end up, and then we can go on and move on to, you know, having these clones get together to create like super clones having clones together. So maybe that's why Helsinki happened. They got rid of the clones that could mate.
Right. And this really...
there's so much that could happen. And I still really want to see Kira and Charlotte get together and come up with some genius plan. I'm thinking it would be really cool if Charlotte and Kira ended up with the book that currently Cosima has, and the two of them they're playing, they're having fun, and they start to figure out the sequence.
Right.
They start Cosima and Scott on the road to figuring out the sequence. That's really cool.
Yeah, because my speculation is that since they were trying to find the original copy, because they want to know why Cosima and some of the clones have this element, and why the caster clones as well. But now we got the military involved in this, some prioritized military, who is 10 times more dangerous than Dynalab themselves. Because Dynalab is a privatized corporation, but when you deal with a privatized military, they're on another level of just, they can do anything they want to, and no one's going to stop them. And so the race is pretty much a race against time, because the doctor at the base where Helena is, she's trying to convince Helena to join her side, because she needs her eggs, and she knows one of the casters can reproduce. And she wants to pretty much build her own type of like military army, because she said, I had children, but I had no children before I started out, but now I have so many children I can't even count, and they're all male, which is interesting because you don't see any female soldiers around. So it makes you think that she's trying to make an operation. She's trying to make something really big and pretty much more massive, and that's what the Politians are trying to do as well. They were trying to reach that same euphoria, because let's be honest, they know science as well too, because they're not stupid at all.
Right. Well, the leader's not stupid. He's kept the rest of them down so they'll do what he wants.
Yeah,
right.
when Helena came in, they calling I kept bothering me. She kept calling her it. I was like, what's this? I was like, that's a human. Because she's wild looking, you're gonna call her it. But I digress.
She's hard to kill, though. She's really hard to kill. Which is interesting too, because since she's hard to kill, and since the caster clones are pretty much, well, they can actually learn fast. They're very athletic. If you mix Kira and Helena's like type of DNA, where they actually can heal a bit more than normal and pretty much unkillable at times, mixed with the caster clones and their agility and everything else like that, you will have a super clone. You have like the most baddest soldiers of all time, which Emmy said, and what also said, because since Helena is dangerous and she will kill them, obviously. They got people to keep her under wraps, or pretty much get her eggs, because she seemed more viable next to Sarah. Because if they don't have Helena, they need Sarah, because she's very, very creative person. She think on the fly, and she can outthink her. She can always outthink her opponents and her clones, because she's pretty much more equipped more than anyone else next to Helena. So it's a race against time to get these clones to make their own army before something really big happens, or the military themselves to say, okay, fuck it, we're going to do this personally, because they're taking way too long to get our clones, and we're just going to fuck up some shit, because they can, they will, and they're not afraid to. Remember that guy who's calling on the phone about the dead security guards? Like, yeah, the caster clones escaped, because he knows who has the caster clones. Like, come on, Dynalab knows who has the caster clones. I mean, they said it before, but they know they can't go after them whatsoever. Like, no, we ain't going after those motherfuckers. They're crazy. We ain't dealing with them. Like, no. We're not dealing. We're going to stay right here and pretend we didn't see anything.
Exactly.
And so, now last thing. I think the Dynalab's going to use that to their advantage, because they know they can't beat the military, but they can always use to extort the military, because if they do find the code to make a leader clone who can reproduce, they can always sell it to the government. They can always sell it to the military, like, okay, here's leader clones, but you're going to give me something in return. How much? Well, how high is the sky? And so those type of moments, it all comes down to money. So I think. But yeah. But anyone else got anything to add before we have to close this down? Some more awesome shit.
Just that I can't wait till next week.
Same here. But you also.
Yep.
All right. So everyone involved in pretty much the zone of the 4 opinions and 1 microphone. Yes, I know, 1 microphone. Makes no damn sense, because that's me. So you're leaving the zone of all of us. Yes, you're seeing Emmy, my great sister from another mother, also my love interest, and me, the oh so awesome, the oh so amazing, the master of all logic and caster for life, Isaiah Zone. You're leaving us. We're going to have a nice sleep. And as always, folks, do keep it locked and loaded and very warm for all of us, because we'll all be back to tell you some more good shit, or pretty much tell you the same thing I always tell you guys. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.